Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human nature stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today's Tuesday and it's January the 13th, 2026. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're new to my channel, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a returning viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets, so you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. So feel free to like and to share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And our story today is coming out of Fort Bragg here in North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, another Fort Bragg soldier dies in a car accident. I'll provide you with a summary here, and I'll identify some of my sources for you in the description box. Sadly, we have to report on the death of yet another Fort Bragg paratrooper killed in a car crash on these unforgiving North Carolina roadways. And it's not the first, it's not the second, but it's actually the third accident-related paratrooper death we're reporting in less than 2 months. Investigators say the accident took place on the morning of January the 4th, 2026. According to reports, it was around 2:15 a.m. when a single-occupant vehicle identified as a Hyundai Sonata was traveling south on Nursery Drive in Spring Lake when the road ended, and the driver crossed onto Overhill Road. Investigators say the vehicle failed to stop at a stop sign, left the roadway, struck a highway sign and several trees, and then caught fire. They say passers-by were able to pull a young man from the wreckage, but it was confirmed the impact was fatal. The occupant of that vehicle was pronounced deceased at the scene. And investigators from the State Highway Patrol have concluded that speed is considered as a factor in this crash that took the life of one individual. But you know, this particular street, Nursery Drive near Overhills, it doesn't have a very good reputation, and some describes it as sort of a death trap for motorists. Just 2 weeks earlier, on 20 December, two people lost their lives in an accident on the same street. It was a truck and an SUV headed in opposite direction, and they collided in the middle of the afternoon, and both drivers were killed. So within a matter of 15 days, you have 3 deaths in Harnett County on a very, very short street here in the city. And the deceased individual of that January 4th crash was identified as 22-year-old Army Sergeant Triston Pippins, a paratrooper from Fort Bragg. Reports say he was a native of Mount Pleasant, Texas, and was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division as a parachute rigger. Sergeant Pippins had been here at Fort Bragg since 2022. And apart from acknowledging that a soldier had passed, Fort Bragg really didn't release much information about him. And that's a little bit unfortunate because it kind of creates a delay for me when I want to share a soldier's story, because I still don't have much information about his awards except for what I can see for myself. But that's okay because some things are understood. He completed successfully his basic training. He successfully completed AIT, was assigned as a qualified parachute rigger. He has successfully completed airborne school, and I could identify his military awards. And for him to have been promoted to sergeant in just over 3 years, it means he had a clean slate and he was focused on the military's mission. And as the site where the soldier lost his life, there was a small memorial, small tribute right at the tree that made that impact. And you can see the American flag and some personal memorabilia in his honor. And as I always do, I travel to the soldier's hometown just to see, travel online, of course, just to see what's being printed. And I did see one article by a local news television station. It was in Tyler, Texas, and it addresses, it mentions the fact that the soldier with ties to Mount Pleasant had passed away, but it did not really give me more information. But I was able to find one source that was very helpful. And after several days of searching, I was finally able to locate an obituary that was posted by legacy.com, and that was posted on January 11th. Now, I'm not sure if that's the official one, but it's the only version I saw available. And in that obituary, it states that Sergeant Pippins graduated from high school in 2022 and that he immediately entered the military. It states he had a love for music and was passionate about playing the piano and the keyboard. He loved working out, riding bikes, and most of all, spending quality time with his family. And he's survived by his parents, a grandparent, siblings, and a host of other family and friends. And funeral services for Sergeant Pippin is scheduled for this week. His viewing will be on Thursday, and his celebration of life and his burial is scheduled for Friday, January the 16th, where he'll be buried with full military honors. Now, we're sending our prayers and words of condolences to his family and friends, not just the ones in Mount Pleasant, Texas, but also his military family here at Fort Bragg, who are also mourning his loss. I'm sure the shock and the grief is just unimaginable, but we sincerely hope you find comfort in knowing that others, many of whom you may never ever know, are praying for you during this difficult time. And so, another brave warrior has completed his journey. He's reached a destination no one could have imagined this soon, but nonetheless is one we must accept as final. So, Sergeant Triston Pippins, your mission is completed. So rest well, my friend, and thank you for your service. And that's all I have for you right now, but feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video, and by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks like just like this one, that's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.